Honestly, the longer I look at Marathon, the more it feels less like a game and more like an experiment. An experiment about how far a studio can drift away from its own community before someone finally says it out loud. And the irony is that Bungie used to set trends. Now it feels like they're chasing them with a checklist in hand. Everything about this project screams, we need to stay relevant, not, we want to create something meaningful. Back then, Bungie felt like a studio driven by developers. Now it sometimes feels like marketing departments decide what players are supposed to feel. And that art direction, I genuinely can't get over it. It doesn't look like a vision that evolved over years. It looks like an agency brief that said, more neon, more contrast, more chaos. Like someone tried to compress the attention span of a social media feed into a shooter. Bungie worlds used to feel immersive. Marathon feels like a room where everything shouts at you, but nothing stays with you. The issue isn't just that it's colorful. The issue is that it feels interchangeable. Remove the logo, and it could be any new free-to-play live service pitch desperately chasing the next big trend. And that's where the real disconnect begins. Destiny players supported Bungie for years through content droughts and questionable decisions. That community wanted evolution, not a complete identity pivot. Instead, Marathon feels like a hard reset into a genre already crowded with games promising the same extraction thrill. It doesn't feel bold. It feels reactive. And then the marketing wave begins. Trailers, creator previews, interviews repeating the same buzzwords. Suddenly, almost on cue, influencers appear everywhere defending the project with identical enthusiasm. I'm not saying nobody can genuinely like Marathon. But when criticism starts feeling unwelcome while sponsored positivity grows louder, gaming loses part of its authenticity. It stops feeling like a community conversation and starts feeling like a controlled narrative. Hype used to grow organically. Now, hype sometimes feels like a volume knob turned up behind the scenes. That's why Marathon feels dead on arrival to me. Not because it's guaranteed to fail technically, not because extraction shooters can't succeed, but because the conversation around this game already feels more manufactured than passionate. Where are the moments that truly excite players? Where is the bold risk Bungie once embraced? Where is that unmistakable identity that made their games stand out? Instead, I see a project trying to be stylish, edgy, trendy, and monetizable all at once. A product that feels designed for presentations before players. Maybe it still works. Maybe there's an audience that loves this direction. But right now, Marathon feels like a game spending more energy managing perception than creating genuine excitement. If I had to summarize it in one sentence, Marathon feels like a game shouting, "Trust us," while players quietly ask, "Why should we?" And that's why I stand by it, dead on arrival. Maybe not financially, maybe not instantly, but emotionally, it already feels like a project that lost its soul somewhere between investor meetings and influencer previews.